Okay, I believe we're going to go ahead and get started, guys. We have, let's see, it looks like about 14 people in attendance right now. We have you on mute as of right now. If you have questions, you have the ability to raise your hand. You can type those questions in also in the chat bar, and myself or someone from my team will respond to you in real time. So go ahead, if you have any questions, feel free and submit those as we're going through. I would like to welcome everyone today to our webinar. My name is Rob Moore. I am Director of Customer Support with Suitebriar, and today we will be looking at Google Forms. So Google Forms is a wonderful way to organize your business. It's excellent for automating processes and speeding up message delivery, allowing your business to function smoothly, and also to take away a lot of kind of what I would consider middleman steps, because this will automate a lot of your processes, and we'll see some of that as we're going through the presentation today. So Forms as a whole is a very widely functional tool. The amount of uses that you can come up with for this are really pretty much limitless. Some of the best business uses that we have for Google Forms that I'm suggesting here today are an IT request form, customer feedback, registration form. If you guys, or if you folks were paying attention, when you signed up for this webinar, we used a Google form for that sheet. You can use time off requests, job applications to be excellent for, employee review, transfer requests, customer satisfaction survey, expense reports, order forms, anything where you are trying to collect a bunch of information and you need to have those responses recorded, maybe some graphs made, you want to be able to examine that data later. This is going to create a very easy, smooth flowing way to collect that data, and then more importantly, to examine the data that you collect. Today's agenda, so we'll be looking at three things. One, accessing forms. So how do we get there? Two, creating the forms. And then three, accessing the data. Again, probably the most important thing here. This is going to make your business run smoothly because it's going to take out a lot of these middleman steps. When you see the data collected here, you'll understand what we're talking about. Things to think about as we're going through this presentation today. Which of these forms would most help your business? How can you use forms to streamline tasks at your company? And then if you still have questions, how can I learn more about Google Forms or any of these products? So the first thing we're going to look at is accessing the forms. There are three main ways that you can get there. The first being the web URL forms.google.com. You can plug that in and go directly to the forms site. You can use your app picker, which is these 9 squares right here that you'll notice on top of your Google Drive and your mailbox and any of the G Suite apps that you have open. It's going to have that app picker available. And then also directly from my Drive. And I'll show you all three of those in just a moment. We'll be looking at creating.
You can do us a favor and just refresh your screen. Sorry to interrupt here. It looks like it just froze on your screen. So if you can just refresh and show your screen, I think it'll come through clearly.
Sure, I apologize.
No worries.
Give me a moment, folks. I'll get back to where I was at here. Okay, are we live again?
Just on the first screen, the first slide.
Creating forms?
The first slide with your photo.
Oh.
There you go. Thanks, Rob.
Yeah, my apologies, guys. I'm so sorry. So again, we'll be looking at creating forms. So this slide deck that I've created for this presentation I'm going to be sharing this out with everyone, and these are all interactive. So you can go ahead and click on any of these links and find these answers. So this will be a useful tool that we'll send out to everyone that's attending the webinar today as well. So that'll be something that you have access to. And I apologize again about the holdup there. The last thing I'm going to show you is accessing form data. So again, when we're collecting these form responses, it's going to be probably most important what the data looks like. We're trying to collect that for multiple reasons using these Google Forms. And so it's going to give us a couple of different options as to how we can read this data and how we are able to access it. And all of that's going to be automated, which is one of the most beautiful parts about Google Forms is once you've created your form, the majority of the work will be done for you from that point on. So an amazing way to streamline your business needs. Okay, so from this point, this would be the forms.google.com. I told you I was going to show you how to access the forms first. Forms.google.com will take you to this page. I wanted to show you some of the templates that are available. These are already pre-populated in your Google Forms. So again, Google Forms has several purposes and several uses. You can really kind of come up with as many as you want. We'll focus mostly on business needs today. So it starts off with work. We have event feedback, order form, job application, things like that. Scroll down a little further. We have some personal needs here. So maybe you have a party, contact information you need to collect from a client. And then educational needs. This is amazing for education. If you guys have any kinds of quizzes that you need to do, if you have any kind of grading for any reason, kind of a knowledge set base, it could be a wonderful place to use forms. And then on the top, we also have Sweet Hills, which is the training domain that I'm in right now. You'll see here we have no templates available, but you're able to submit templates. So any forms that you create, you can submit them to your domain to have those pre-populated here as templates available to you as well. So you don't have to continue to recreate these. Once you've got them, you've got them. So you can go ahead and upload them and use them again and again and again. So I'd like to jump into a form that I created last week on my training site here to kind of show you some of the things that we're able to do. This one is going to be a very basic form. It's for a company trip collecting data. We're looking at where do people want to go, how long do they want to stay there, et cetera, et cetera. So we can see the questions here. On this particular form, I am collecting email addresses, so I'm requiring people to enter that in here. You don't have to do that. I'll show you how to toggle that on and off. This here is a question that has not been populated. So this is where you would fill in your question. We have multiple types of answers that we can select here. So you can take a short answer, paragraph, check boxes, drop down. You can upload a file. Depending on what kind of data you're collecting, you'll want to vary your questions. Based on the type of question you put in, it will oftentimes suggest one of these. If you say, for instance, when something, 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 it's going to automatically assume you want a date. When you put the date in, you'll see you are able to include the year, include the time, so you can alter the way that people respond. So on here, you'll see we have multiple choice questions, a couple of checkbox questions. We have a rating question. I've also included a video down here with some checkboxes. If you wanted to include a new question from this point, it's as simple as hitting this plus. You'll see it inserts the question here. Again, you can put whatever question you like there, select what type of answer you're looking for. You can populate your answers. We can copy the question. If you have one question that you're using a few times, but you have different answers, maybe you could copy that. If you don't like it, you can throw it out altogether. This is an important spot right here. This makes it so it's a required question. So depending on what kind of data you're collecting, you may want to make it a required response. And then the three dots, again, depending on which question type you have, you may get a validation thing here. Shuffle option order. If you're doing like a quiz, you can shuffle the options so that they are not the same on each quiz. And then go to section based on answer. We're going to examine that in just a moment here. So this is a pretty basic quiz right here, or form that we've filled out. I'm going to walk you through a couple of the buttons at the top of our screen. We have add-ons. There are a lot of wonderful add-ons for forms that are going to help to automate your business again. If you are looking for kind of simple workflows, things like that, if you're looking for more advanced email notifications and things like that, a lot of the add-ons that are free will do those for you. So if it's not included necessarily within forms, it's still most likely available to you. And myself or somebody on my team would be happy to help you get those set up. This is the palette button, so you can kind of personalize it. You can select a color for this background here, or you can insert an image like I've done. This will be our preview button. So if we click the preview, we can see what this is going to look like when we send it out. So this is what the finished product would be that people received, either an email or, depending on how you send it out, the link URL. In our settings here, this one can be important, collecting email addresses. If you don't have this selected, it's going to be an anonymous response, so you're not going to know who's responding. If you need to know who's responding, or you want to be able to return a message to them or to get back to them at a later date, you'll obviously want to collect those email addresses. This is another good point. If you are trying to do like a company survey and you need to get to 100% completion or 95% completion, or whatever the case may be, if you have collect email addresses selected, then it is going to show, I'm going to pull over to our responses real quick, who has responded and who has not. So these would be people that have not yet responded to this. We then have the option to just send an email reminder to them saying, hey, we have this form out. We need to hear back from you. Please respond. We can restrict these forms to people in our domain. We can limit it to one response. So depending on what kind of form it is that you're creating, you may want people to be able to answer more than one time if you're just doing a basic vote about something, or if you are just collecting personal data, you'd only want them to be able to respond once, you would want to select this box. You also have options as to what respondents can do. So whether or not they're able to edit their answers after they've submitted them, whether or not they're able to see the responses that others are giving. You can choose those as well. If we come up to presentation, if you have an especially long form that you have people filling out, this will give them a progress bar. So 25, 35, 40% complete at the bottom so they know where they're at. You can shuffle the question order again if you're doing some form of quiz. You may want to consider shuffling the question order so that others can't look off of others' computers. And then you can show a link to submit another response at the end. So if you want them to respond more than once, you can select that box. And then also, if you are using this as a quiz format, you can make this a quiz and set it to automatically grade. So you don't have to do anything with that. You can set it so that the people taking the quiz can see the correct answers, things like that, right from this location. I also want to show you the 3 dots, the all-important undo. If you do something you don't want on there, this is where that's going to be located. I'm going to skip down here. We can add collaborators. So one of the nicest features about Google products is that you're able to share these and work with other folks in your domain, in your business. With forms, it's a little different. It's important to understand it's all or nothing. We don't have view, comment, different sharing rights. Editors will be able to view and delete form responses. So if you share with people here, you can go ahead and put an email in. Just understand that you're only going to be able to give them edit ability. So you want to keep these forms. You probably don't want to have too many cooks in the kitchen with these. Go ahead and cancel this. And then back to our 3 dots. The add-ons, again, if you are looking to do more advanced workflow kind of things, notification emails, there are a lot of great add-ons that are free and available for you to use specifically for forms. That's where you would go to find those. And then finally, refresh this. There we go. And then finally, if we come all the way down to preferences, This is a very nice feature. You'll notice that you can set forms to collect email addresses, and you can make questions required within the forms as you're creating them. However, from here, you are able to select this for all forms going forward. So if you want to always collect email addresses or always make questions required, you can select these boxes here, and it will make them that situation for all of your forms that you make from that point forward. So nice way to simplify things again for yourself if you find that you're always wanting those things the same. When we send out our form to people, we have multiple different options. Depending on how or what your form's purpose is, you can email them, you can get a link, so you can share this link out, and you can shorten it so you don't have to give them the crazy long version. We can embed this, so you can take this HTML. If you want to embed your form directly into a Google site or document, we can go ahead and put that right in there using this embed feature. We also have social media options, so we can share via Google+, Facebook, or we can tweet this out. So again, multiple options for how we can send this form out. Now I want to go ahead and take a look at some of the responses from this form. So we have different options. This is all real time. We get a summary, which is all of them together or individual responses. With this one, I'd like to look at them as a summary, so we can see it all together here. What month would you like the trip to occur? These graphs are all put together for us. It's all automated. We're able to copy these graphs if we like. So if we need to put it into a slide presentation, we're able to do that. But this immediately, all we do is create a form, and we're able to collect this data and see visually exactly where we're at. 100% of people want their spouses to come on this trip. 100% want their children to come on this trip. This is all automated, so this is wonderful. If you don't like the graphs, if we come up to the top, we can also view our responses in sheets by simply hitting this button here. So you'll see as we scroll across, we have all of our answers. We have the questions on the top. We have the answers underneath. Another nice feature is that it gives us a timestamp for when these answers are submitted. And then you'll see here, the first two people responded before I had asked to collect email addresses. The third one I had asked to collect it, so the email address is populated here already for us. I'd like to go ahead and take a look at another form I put together that's a little more complex, just so you can get an idea of some of the more advanced features we can use here. This particular form, I started off with general information, and then you'll see here I've got a drop-down box where I have a request of time off, tuition reimbursement, and expenses. One of the nice features about forms, those are three very different things, but I'm able to select from the three dots down here by the required button to go to section based on answer. So I've selected that, and based off of their answer here from the Dropbox, it's going to send me to a specific place. So if I select time off, I go to section 2. If I select tuition reimbursement, section 3, and so on and so forth, without having to fill in the other areas. So we're able to do a multitude of things here with one form, just based off of how they answer that one question. Now again, with add-ons, you're able to trigger emails. We can set them for emails here so that you get a response. So when someone submits a form validation, if I go to my mailbox, you'll see here Google Forms. I have a new response, and you can actually click immediately out of your email into the view summary so that you can see how they responded. I want to go ahead and preview this one so that you can have an idea of what this looks like. So we're just going to put in random, make up some information here. John Doe, J Doe. And you'll see here how it's saying example@email.com. I set that so it would only accept those types of responses. So you're able to set qualifiers for these answers so that they have to be a certain way. So if you want a number answer, if you want a date answer, you can set that up. So like employee number is another one. You'll see I cannot put letters into that for an acceptable answer. We'll do time off for this one. So when I click next here, this is going to take me straight to that section. And then it goes to submit. So start date, we'll say I'm going to leave tomorrow, come back Friday, and I am from retention. Submit, form is in. I just submitted this. If I come back to my Acme test now, you'll see my responses have gone up. I now have 7 responses. Again, I can automatically break those down individually. So I can scroll through if I've already seen the first 6. This is my newest one, John Doe. We have all of his relevant information. And all of the things that I wasn't asking him about are still here, but not filled in. Again, I've got it set so that I get an email notification. So you'll see here again, form submission detected. So you can set those automated responses for every time you get a form sent in. So it's a wonderful way to be able to automatically collect that information. Again, speeding up the business, automating it, making things more simple. The last thing I want to show you are the different ways that we can view this. So here's where we get the email notifications for new responses. If you don't select that, it won't automatically do it for you. You need to go ahead and select that in order to get the notification. You can select a response destination. So you can put it into the sheet that they've created, or you can select an existing spreadsheet, and it will just take you into your Google Drive and open up all the spreadsheets that you have. And then you just select the one that you would like it to go into. We can also download our responses as a CSV. We can print all our responses, or we can delete all the responses. If we want, we could delete all of these and start fresh with the same form. We could then link it to a different spreadsheet and start collecting data on a brand new topic using all of the same questions in the same form that we've already created. We don't have to start fresh. So again, very nice features, speed things up. And then finally, if you have a form that, say, you can only accept responses for a week, after that week is up, you need to stop. If you click this button here, this form is no longer accepting responses. If somebody tries to access it, you can type a message here that they can get, or they can just get that message there. This form is no longer accepting responses. And then if you need to, you can use that as a pause feature, and you can always go back in and unpause that and allow responses to begin again. Okay, at that point, I am going to stop. I will hold for some questions. If anyone has any questions about the information I presented here, we'll wait and see if anything comes in. In the meanwhile, again, we're going to send out this Google Slides presentation here. It's got the clickable links in it, so you're able to go directly to those sites and find the information you're looking for. This also has some clickable links in here for the Google training site. And then also, this is our help desk email address right here. So if you are looking to schedule a more formal training session just for your company, either over Google Forms or any other Google products, you can reach out to us there at helpdesk@suitebriar.com, and we'll be happy to get you set up on that. Let's see if we've got any questions here. Okay, so we have one person asking if this is extra or included. This is included with your subscription. So Google Forms is already available to you. In any one of those 3 places that I showed you, you can access it. You can go there and begin using this today. I see another question. Can we add this to a website? Absolutely. Absolutely, you can. Again, we will just come X out of here. There we go. So if we come here and we go to our settings or I'm sorry, our send feature. Apologies. From the send feature, we can select right here and get the embed, and then we can just copy and paste this directly in so we can access this from a web page. Okay, and then I see one more asking about workflows. So again, we can set this up to automatically respond and send you an email when a form is completed. The add-ons are going to be available if you want more specific. So we could actually set the one form that I showed you with the multiple pieces up so that depending on which one of those forms they completed, the email notification would go to a different location. You would just have to use an add-on for that. Or we can help you. There are different scripts and things that we could help you write at Suitebriar to do some things that Forms is not set up for necessarily, but we'd be happy to talk you through that and give you the necessary tools that you need to be able to set up the workflows that you're looking for. So if that's something that you are especially interested in, again, please feel free and contact myself or anyone else here at Suitebriar, and we'll be happy to point you in the direction of where you need to be. That being said, guys, I appear to be a couple minutes over my time today. So I would like to thank everyone for attending our webinar. If you have any questions after you leave here today, please feel free and email us. I will be more than happy to respond to any question. There's nothing too big or too small. If I don't know the answer, I promise I will find it for you. So thank you everyone for your time today. And everyone have a great rest of your afternoon.